Good afternoon, everyone. I think my two earlier speakers, they have made my job easy, and because I wanted to show you that whatever is being done in Berkeley or in US or in any Western country, we can do it and we are doing it. This is what I want to show it here, that we are using the technology in our classroom. I am working with Gautam Buddha University. This is a fairly new university, came up in 2008, and we have a 511 acres land in Greater Noida. We are a Wi-Fi campus. You talk of a technology and it is there with us. We are very techno savvy. We are using the technology. I would like to share my my experiences as a teacher, what I am doing in my classes. Some of the things we have been talking of Web 2.0 tools. I think in the morning, Professor Khan has also told us that he is also conducting few sessions on Web 2.0 tools in the classroom. I think I shouldn't go into these slides. What is Web 2.0? But just for the information of that, it is a trend in the web design and the development. This is the next generation of the web tools. The first generation was Red, but now with this generation, anyone can publish. You don't need to be a programmer. You don't need to have those technical capabilities. Anyone can publish. How do we use them in the classrooms? So what are those tools, and can we use them in the classrooms? The good thing about the Web 2.0 tools is that they are free, they are online, they can be embedded in the websites. They will be, Professor Shourie was talking about the social networks, collaborative groups. Yes, they all facilitate all this. Unfortunately, the Web 2.0 tools which are available to us are in the beta form, so there may be some problem related to this. And today, if you search for some Web 2.0 tools and next day you find something else, you try to search it, you will find that there are a lot of changes. So change is the consistent. So what are the users' expectations from Web 2.0? So now we are not restricted to surfing, browsing, consuming and all that, but we are talking of connecting, we are talking of collaborating, we are talking of creating, and we are talking of large data and the audio and video, and we talk of participation. So if you are using Web 2.0 in the classrooms, then obviously we are talking of interaction, we are talking of collaborations. We have more facilities for monitoring or providing feedback and assessing the students. Obviously we are talking of active learning. We are now not talking of passive learning, but we are talking of active learning. I think I'll just skip these. I have been associated with distance education, and when I was with the distance education, then only I thought that I came to know that yes, you have to, as a teacher, you have to focus on the learner, on your student, and then I came through this taxonomy that obviously how the knowledge is being shared, how the learning takes place. There are 6 levels. Again, the Bloom's taxonomy has been revised, and it says now the higher level of learning, they are in the creation. So we are talking of creation now. We are now talking of, we want to develop our students for this innovation economy, where the key word will be the use of individual ideas and the knowledge, and then conduct the commerce. The core competencies which are required in our 21st century learner, they are that I think most of speakers that they have said, and they all will agree that now we want to think differently. We want to have creativity. You need to have innovation. You need to have collaborations. Now I want to talk about a bit of learning tools which we have been using and which are available for free. All these tools, when we are talking of this technology, I again emphasize that it It is the pedagogy which is important. It is not the tool. The pedagogical consideration should be given more importance than the demand of the technology. One of the tools which can be used in the classroom is the learning management system. Moodle is one of the learning management system which has been used in more than 7,000-8,000 universities across the world. This is a platform which provides ways for or opportunities for interactions and collaborations. Then beyond this learning management system, there is learning activity management system, which allows a teacher to define the different activities which you want to get done from your students. You can define a quiz. You can have a quiz in which several questions are being asked, and then you are asking a student to reply. You can have poll, and then once you have taken the poll, and then if you wish to chat with the students, you can do with this. This again is free. We are in our campus are using Brihaspati. Again, this is a this is a combination of your learning management system and learning activity management system. This is called Brihaspati. This is has been developed by IIT Kanpur. And again, I would like to tell you that this technology has been developed by this Ministry of IT and the IIT. And this is perfect. Like we have been using it for the last 6 months, and the results are very nice. Now, we are talking of web conferencing now, and that too free. You just need to have a webcam, and you can be seen anywhere. And if you go to these websites, DimDim and WizQ, you can host your own virtual classrooms. Anyone from anywhere will be seeing your content, will be interacting with you. In fact, I had initiated a session in DimDim, I think 3-4 months back, and there I got calls from more than 10 countries. So I'm trying to show that the power which are there in the hands of the teacher. You want to broadcast, you just go to this website and you can be broadcasted live. We are talking of learning pyramid. Now, the learning pyramid says that it is not only lecturing, reading, but now we are talking of practice by doing or by teaching others. So now, again, these tools, blogs, everyone knows these tools. We can use these tools in the education. These are the tools which can be used by us. These are the ways by which we can use blogging as the education tool. I'll not be going into the details, but I'll just rush through it. The microblogging, the Twitter, which is because a lot of politicians they use. So now we are we know these tools. These also can be used for giving for imparting education. We talk of wiki. So wiki again again allows you to collaborate. Several people like you as a teacher can create the content, and then you have students who can make modifications into it. So you can edit this. These are the tools which are available. Besides this, there is one more tool which is called Wiki Educator, which allows the educators from all across the world to host their content and to share their content. So why do we use wikis in education? These are the reasons for it. Now we have been searching websites to find out the what is new in that website. So you can use RSS. Again, you wish to author the content. You want to use the multimedia. So you can use these websites, the course lab, that they allow you to create your content. You wish to record your audio, Audacity is there, you record your audio. Your text can be converted into voice in the speech. This is available here. You just go to this website and then your text is converted into speech. You have a lot of tools which can write your text into any format. You can create your flash games, that too free. You go to this website and you can access it. You can create your own flash games. You can create your animated cartoons. And you don't need to be a technical person. You just go to these websites, just follow those instructions, and you can create these. Obviously, you know how to share your slides, and some of these slides, obviously, I have borrowed, like I have taken it from the website itself. You can now social bookmarking. As a teacher, you have access. You have got access to several websites. You found that the content which you are presenting is available in different websites. So you can make use of social bookmarking and share it among all of your users, with all your students. Now the free learning content. I heard in the morning that people in the different organizations, they are creating the content. If you go to the web, it is endless. The content is endless, and you talk of quality, but obviously the quality is there. If you want to just go into what type of content is there, you can start it from your MIT's OEW to OCW to OER Commons. Oh, okay. You can go to, I think I'll take only 2 minutes. You can go to YouTube edu, and you can get the lectures of your professors. Obviously, the lectures of Indian professors, they are available on NTPL site. I would like to tell you that this particular website is a phenomenal site which can give you the details about the basic maths, biology, and environment science. All the games and everything, they are there. So again, this is one of the websites where if you wish to know about what are the body parts, you just go to this website and see what are the body parts, what are the things inside your body. Now we know that the kids, they love games, playing games. Now can we bring those games into the education? Yes. Free Rice is one such website where if you just go to it, it just ask few questions, and for each right answer, it says that it donates some rice to hungry people. You have a lot of games which are available. This particular game is from the website called nobelprize.org, and there in this particular website, all the Nobel Prize winners, whatever their achievements are and how they had achieved it, they are given in the form of games. Because you just need to access it, and you get hundreds, thousands of games which can be used by the teachers in the classroom. Again, another example where anyone can see how the hip surgery takes place. It guides you to perform each and everything. There is again one more game which tells you about what is immune attack. I think this is all. And what I want to say is there are a lot of tools which are available. The thing is, we just need to use them. We just need to use them. Thank you very much.